Hello, we are back for race 11, I think it is. Yeah, 11 of the YouTube Racing Team series. This one's from the Red Bull Ring in Austria. And I'm quite excited about this one. As you can see on the track map, 4 long, fast straights. Good for the YouTube Racing Team car. We've been good in practice so far. This is about as close to oval racing as Formula 1 gets. Now I know the track map doesn't look much like an oval, but stick with me on this because there aren't any technical corners. There's a lot of fast straights and it's pretty much down to who's the fastest in a straight line for a lot of this race. It's been us, the Red Bulls and the Mercedes that have been quick so far. You can see my main rival here, Lando Norris. The McLaren's not fast, haven't been doing well this weekend, not quick in a straight line, so we should have a good chance of beating him today. I've got the freshest engine possible in the YouTube Racing Team car, so hopefully that's going to work wonders for us in the race. R&D in progress. As long as none of them fail, we've got a chassis, aerodynamics and powertrain upgrade for the British Grand Prix, which is the next race, and that durability upgrade should be coming in for the race after the British Grand Prix, which will be the Hungarian Grand Prix. But for now, we are about level with the Alfa Romeo, a little bit behind Haas, and then Alfa Tauri, Renault and McLaren very even. Racing Point up with Ferrari and Red Bull now, and Mercedes in a league of their own. The Mercedes and the Racing Points have been the two standout cars around this track, but we're not far behind them. We are probably the third best team around this track. Our straight line speed helps dramatically. Only Mercedes have a better power unit than us. One small spanner in the works is that it's going to rain for qualifying, and as we know, I am not good in the rain. It rained in practice 1 and it's been cloudy, overcast, not much grip for practice 2 and practice 3. But it didn't start raining until halfway through practice 1 and I didn't do any laps in the rain. So I've not done any testing in the rain whatsoever. But let's get into qualifying and see if I can handle it. Now we are on the intermediates, but it is pretty damn wet out here. There's not much grip at all. As I say, I've done no practice in the wet whatsoever. This is my first wet lap around this track. I'm not set up for the wet at all. I'm set up for, it should be a dry race. There's no forecast of rain for the race, so hopefully my setup will work well there. Even if I don't qualify well because of that setup, I should be able to make up places in the race. I'm hoping, much like the last race, although it didn't work out very well for me in the last race in France, but I'm hoping people, and by people I mean the AI, have set their cars up for qualifying in the wet and will then be weak in the race compared to me. This car is all over the place. It's close to undrivable at the moment. That is one section coming out of that corner where you can get a lot of oversteer and start to slide. In the dry, I really like these last 2 corners, especially on soft tyres. The car feels like it's on rails going around there in the dry. In the wet, not so much though. It's slipping and sliding. We are into 5th. I don't know how competitive that's going to be versus the cars around us. So I'm going straight in for another lap. Slightly down at the moment, but I'm hoping to be able to pull it back. I didn't have the cleanest of laps. Outbrake myself a little bit there, that wasn't too good. Valtteri Bottas pushes me down. As I say, Mercedes and Racing Points have been the ones to watch really over the course of the weekend so far. Got a bit of a slide out of there, so unfortunately I'm losing time down this section.
There's only 1 lap of fuel remaining.
Thanks, Jeff. No. Oh. Alright, well that's quali 1 over for us, I suspect.
Taken some minor damage.
Right, we'll head straight back into the pits and hopefully get another run. Okay, so we will get another run if we need it.
Best lap so far is a
17th down, go out, I think, if I remember right. It's the bottom 6. Guan Yu Zhou not doing too bad. As I say, our car's pretty good around here. He's not done too bad so far. Albon will knock him down a little bit. I think he'll still be doing well to get into Q2, but you never know. Albon's actually set his time and he's gone slower than me. So I'm quicker than the Red Bull in the wet. That's not too bad at all. Yeah, I don't think I'll bother going out again because the rain isn't getting any better. So I don't think there'll be too much improvement from the other drivers. A couple of them improved. I got knocked down to 13th, but we're still safely through. Guan Yu Zhou will start 19th, so that's not too bad. Kind of what we expect from him. He's outqualified both the Williams, he's outqualified Giovinazzi as well. I think in the dry race, he'll be quicker than Raikkonen in the other Alfa Romeo. I think he may be quicker than the 2 Hasses as well, although where's the other Haas? How has Grosjean done that? So the Hasses haven't been very quick. Maybe Grosjean's gone for a wet setup to qualify well. I'm not too sure. So I'm straight out for my first lap in Quali 2. Just in case this weather gets any worse, I want to get in a lap in nice and early. I do like this track in the dry. Not so much in the wet, but in the dry, this is a really nice track to drive. It is probably one of the easiest tracks, he says, running wide. It's probably one of the easiest tracks on the calendar, in my opinion. I have bumped up the driver difficulty rating by 2 points, just because after practice 1 it seemed a lot easier around here than it had been in the last couple of races. Nervous about that corner now. But yeah, the drivers are a little bit more difficult. The AI difficulty ratings bumped up a little bit. Just because I want it to be realistic. Oh, I've run wide. There's no grip out there. It's not going to be a quick time for me. But I do go 3rd so far. For the moment, I'm ahead of Norris. I'm going to do another lap straight away. Yes, the tyres are a little bit more worn. However, I made a couple of mistakes on that run, including up here I ran wide, which I've pretty much done again. Although not as badly this time, nowhere near as badly. I've got back into the green because of it. I've run wide down here instead, and that has messed up this lap nice and... Oh dear. I'm just not good in the rain. Might as well send it through these last couple of corners just in case I can. Oh, yeah. No. Oh, well. It was close. I'm going to get out again now. Because I'm in 9th and that's not safe. Best lap so far is a 1:15.6. I can definitely go quicker than that. It's just about not bottling it in the wet. Look at that. I'm 6/10 of a second up. Come on. Don't throw it away now, Dave. Don't do something like that. It's fine, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. Gone purple through that sector somehow. And this is a much faster lap time. I'm over a second up. That's big. I've gone 4th. And we are through to Quali 3 into the top 10 shootout. 1:14.6. Just a tiny bit slower than Lewis Hamilton. 10th and a half quicker than Vettel. We'll take that. We'll take that all day long. We unfortunately don't have a fresh set of inters for this final stint, so we're on used inters at the moment. I think these are the ones from Quali 1. It should be a dry race, so we won't be needing to use these tyres in the race anyway, so we can just use and abuse them now. I can't nail that turn in the wet. We are the fastest through Sector 2 again though. I think we may have been the fastest through Sector 1 as well, I didn't see. Final sector's not our strongest, especially not in the wet. We across the line and it's a temporary P2 of 1:14.3. 3 temps quicker than I did in Q2. I think the track must have improved. But also, as I said, I haven't done any practice in the rain on this track, so each round of qualifying is just practice for the next round at the moment. Which could be why my times are getting faster and faster. Although having said that, this lap's way off the pace, so I'm going to be calling this one off and coming into the pits. So I dropped down to 4th at the end of qualifying. Predictably, Lord Hams, who's won 6 out of 10 races so far this season, has yeeted in a 1:13.8 on his last attempt, so he's going to start on pole position. Probably another race win for him, but I'm happy with that. We're starting from the second row alongside Verstappen, ahead of the 2 Ferraris, ahead of the second Red Bull in Albon, ahead of both Racing Points, who in the dry have been very, very quick. They're going to be a threat from behind, certainly. We may even be able to do Verstappen in front of us, because he's the Red Bull hasn't been the strongest around the Red Bull ring because it lacks that straight line speed.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Stewart, Charles Leclerc and Vettel, Perez, Stroll, Ocon and Daniel Ricciardo, Sainz, Albon, Lando Norris and Gasly, Kvyat, Grosjean, Kevin Magnussen and Kimi Raikkonen, Joe, Giovinazzi, Russell and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
We're not seeing any technical issues coming off the practice start. Watch the RPM on the full start. We don't want to bog down.
So, my strategy for this race, I'm starting on the mediums, everyone around me is on the softs. However, they will have the tyre advantage on me at the beginning of the race, but I will have the tyre advantage on them at the end. It will be roles reversed. It didn't give me this as an option. I've kind of created it as a custom option, but starting on mediums and then switching to soft.
No rain currently expected.
The kind of default strategy was start on softs and switch to hards. But I think the mediums will go long enough. I'm planning to pit on lap 21, switch to the softs and go softs from lap 21 to the end, the last 15 laps. The softs are mega quick around here. So in theory, I don't know what Verstappen's doing, don't know what Leclerc's doing either. In theory, I'll be a lot faster than these guys at the end, put it that way, when I put on the softs. Then I may lose some positions during the pit stops though to undercuts. We just need to keep it clean, have a nice clean race, not do anything stupid, and see where we can finish. Massive chance of good points here.
Keep an eye on the lights. The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid has formed. Be ready with the clutch.
Waiting for the Williams as usual. Yeah, big chance of big points here. Big chance of points here. Rich and overtake off the line, just to compensate for starting on mediums instead of softs. Bottas is slow away, but he's defending against me, so I can't chuck it up the inside of him. I'm around the outside. Bottas is all over the place. He hit Verstappen. But we're away in third. We've made up a position off the line. I don't know what Bottas was doing there. There's been an issue behind us because there was temporarily a yellow flag there. Don't know what happened. Bottas is still in behind us. He may have damage though, because he went into the side of Verstappen pretty hard there.
Well done, mate. Nice start.
Cheers, mate. So Hamilton and Verstappen are already pulling away. That's to be expected. As I say, they have the tyre advantage on me at the start here, and especially when the mediums are taking a little while to warm up like that. Gone defensive here.
Try to stay with him, he might make a mistake. We could still regain the position.
Oh, we've already regained the position, Jeff. But thanks for the advice. Bottas is sticking out of the inside on a corner that's not really an overtaking opportunity.
We've got a lot of spare energy. Use your overtake button. DRS will be enabled this lap. You can use it when within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Important that we get a good exit out of these corners then to stop Bottas sailing past us with the DRS. And that's not a good exit. And here he comes. Bottas is very racy at the beginning of this race. Very racy. He wants to get past me as quickly as possible to stop Lewis and Verstappen getting away, I think.
To manage this, we'll need to lower our ERS deployment mode.
That's not very good through there at all. Bottas is looking up the inside for at corners that aren't really overtaking opportunities, and I think I kind of cut his nose off there.
Our battery charge speed is suffering, and if it gets much worse, we could be forced to retire. We're leading our teammate by 6.7 seconds.
Oh, sorry, Guan Yu Zhou. Making him look pretty bad again. So Bottas did actually drop a position to Perez then, I think because I cut his nose off on the final corner. But he shouldn't really have been looking down the inside there because it's not an overtaking opportunity. Perez is fighting him back as well, and as I said, the racing points are very quick around here.
Gap to car in front is 6.1 seconds.
I didn't really notice that Perez had fought his way up into fifth place until he overtook Bottas there, but it means he's cleared both the Ferraris already, so it shows you just how quick that racing point is. In the dry at least. Just because I've got him behind me doesn't mean I've got a buffer really, because I think the racing points aren't really much slower than the Mercedes. I'd still probably rather have Perez behind me than Bottas though, especially the way Bottas has been racing at the start of this race. Been extremely aggressive. Bottas back past Perez again. All the time those two are fighting, they will slow each other down a little bit. It'll help me get away. The racing point may be fast, but I do think the Mercedes is still quicker.
8.2 seconds.
Definitely at this stage of the race, both Lewis and Verstappen are considerably quicker than me. And I think, to be fair, Bottas is as well.
Clear.
Doing things like that won't help. Oh no! Guan Yu Zhou's out of the session. And that is a huge shame because, as I said, this is a track where we should have been able to do quite well.
Out of the race.
Made a couple of silly mistakes on this lap. It's brought Bottas right back up to me. Although he's dropped back again there. I don't know if that's me using my overtaken rich mix to defend a little bit there. Just thinking that tight right-hander there might be better in third gear. Do keep running right wide in full. But Lewis and Verstappen have gone, but they are on the quicker tyre. I was expecting them to pull away. I've made a couple of mistakes, so let's let them get even further ahead than they already would have been. Still very much in position for a podium finish, especially if I can hold off Bottas, as I've been doing so far in this race.
Use your overtake button for more power. We need to push.
Jeff, you were telling me earlier not to use it because it was worn and there was a risk of me dropping out of the race.
Our gap to the car in front is 11.5 seconds.
Nobody saw me exceed the track limits there. I'm going to stop using so much of the rich fuel mix to try and defend. Save that for later on in the race. Because I will get done by a few of these guys in the pit stops.
Green flag.
Something just happened behind us. Is that another driver out? I'm guessing it is. Lance Stroll, yeah. Now that is a car that definitely would have threatened us in this race, so that does make my job scoring as many points as possible a little bit easier.
Tyre condition is still looking good.
And that's good, because we're only about halfway through this stint.
Okay, this is Jeff. I need you
Who
to
else
stop
would it be,
cutting
Jeff?
the corners. If you keep it up, the stewards will award you a penalty.
Yeah, I know they will. do need to get better at taking that final corner. How is that not a safety car?
Okay, gap ahead is 12.2 seconds.
Verstappen isn't getting away as quickly as he was earlier on in the race. Might mean those soft tyres are starting to come to the end of their life. Probably bad news for me since I've got to do 15 laps on mine when I do pit. It's only lap 12, lap 13 at the moment. Oh, it's not so bad actually. Whoops, that's not very well done. Yep, here comes Bottas.
You're losing a small amount of time to the car behind. Keep pushing.
First time I've had DRS in this race. Going around the outside because he's defended the inside. Nicely done. Used up all our overtake doing it, but we've made it back past him. All of that because I messed up the last couple of corners. The last three corners, I suppose. I messed up this one right here. And then I didn't really mess up the second to last corner, but I messed up the last one. That is why I like this track though, it's just one flowing set of corners. You mess up one and it compromises you for a lap. I didn't even realise Hamilton had pitted. Verstappen's still out on the softs. Good news for me, proves they can do 15 laps. Does also mean he's probably putting mediums on. He's 2.1 seconds behind me at the moment. If he cruises up behind me, I'm not going to fight him. Realistically, I'm not fighting Hamilton for the race win, I don't think, today. Even on the softs against his hards, I'm not going to be quick enough. There's no point losing time to him. It's not actually Hamilton's behind me, it's Perez, isn't it? Verstappen pits, goes on to medium tyres. Perez is in the pits as well. I'm going to be pitting in 5 laps time. Putting on the softs, and I should be the fastest thing on the track when I do. I will lose places though, because those guys will be undercutting me as we speak, because they're out on fresh mediums or fresh hards, some of them, and will be lapping a lot faster than I am at the moment. These mediums don't feel too bad yet though. Charged up the overtake nicely, so I'm going to start using that again soon. Here comes Hamilton. Leclerc's actually jumped Bottas in the pit stops.
Battery charge is high. Let's use that overtake button more.
Oh, I'm going to use it, Jeff. I'm going to use it. Hamilton's not finding it easy to just cruise past me though, is he? Even on the fresh tyres. I know they're hard, but still. Let him go there. Didn't bother fighting it. Get some DRS down the straight.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the softs.
Let's just try and stick with him now. DRS down the straights comes in nice and handy. All the while I'm using this, I'm saving my fuel. I'm hitting 2 laps time. That's why I lose a lot of time to him coming out of there. My tyres, that's the one corner, that kind of third to last corner there, where my tyres really do feel like they've not got much grip.
By a few tenths per lap. At the moment, the car behind us is lapping faster than us by around 1 second per lap.
I'd be surprised if he wasn't, Jeff. He's on fresh mediums and I'm not really fighting him for position. Leclerc and Bottas are both going to undercut me. Probably Vettel as well. Probably Perez as well, I would think. However, I'm going to have not only fresher tyres than them at the end in this second stint, but faster tyres.
A new strategy is available on the MFD.
What's the new strategy, Jeff? No, piss off.
this lap, in this lap, push now.
Why would I put on hards, Jeff? Answer me that. When we've already seen the softs can do 15 laps because Verstappen took them to 15 laps and then put on mediums.
Be aware we expect severe loss of grip from the tyres at this point.
Hopefully not too severe. I just need to make it back to the pits.
Go, go.
Alright.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
I've managed to get DRS somehow coming out of the pits. I'm still ahead of Vettel. I'm in 6th. Soft tyres, in 6th. Chasing down Bottas, Perez and Leclerc. 15 laps to go. Come on, let's see what we can do. Purple second sector already. Gap in Vettel already as well. Oh, these tyres feel incredible. We should get fastest lap of the race, I suspect. Oh, bit of a dive. But we're past Bottas. Wasn't the most sensible of moves, but then that's payback for the moves that he was pulling on me at the beginning of the race.
Energy. Use the overtake button and have a go.
It's not an overtaking opportunity down there. Oh, I've run wide there. Not into turn 1. That's the fastest lap of the race. I doubt anyone will beat it either, except maybe me when I get some clear air. Right, this is the overtaking opportunity. Uphill into turn 3. Give Perez room on the inside and we are through. And already gapping him. Two seconds to Leclerc. Oh, that wasn't good.
You're increasing the gap to the car behind by a few seconds per lap. Keep this up.
We're definitely going to be in DRS zone of Leclerc. Whoops. That is what distractions will do to you. Itchy nose, scratched my nose, crashed into the wall. Maybe a little bit cheaty, but never mind.
Out in front.
Thanks, Jeff. He's not defending. Didn't expect me to come from that far back and get it stopped, but I did. And I got the DRS for the back straight. See you later, Charles Leclerc. Still have 10.5 laps to go, so we can't take too much life out of the tyres, but right now I'm just enjoying the way this car's driving. Charles Leclerc may not be safe from Perez either. There's about a 3-second gap between them, but Perez is on the mediums. So he may outrun Charles Leclerc for the remainder of this race. 15.3 seconds behind Verstappen. 16.4 seconds behind Lewis. Definitely gaining on them. We're definitely the fastest car on the track at the moment. Don't think I'll have enough time to catch either of them, to be honest, but it's nice to be going faster than the big boys.
Gap to car in front is 14.4 seconds.
This is one of the tracks that I like. It's also, as I said at the beginning, one of the easier tracks on the calendar to race at. It's kind of like an F1 version of oval racing. It's just a nice track to go at. I do enjoy driving it. It's a track that I'm good at. It's a track that the car's good at as well, though, which is why it's such a shame that Guan Yu Zhou dropped out so early on. It would have been nice to see what he could do on this track, see if he could get his best finish yet, because he certainly would have had a chance here. I'd say the next big chance might be Monza. Silverstone's quite a fast circuit, but there's technical sections as well, which our car just isn't as good at as a lot of the other cars. Monza's pretty much all about top speed. Maybe Spa-Francorchamps as well. You've got a couple of long straights there where our car should be mighty. I think the gap between Leclerc and Perez is pretty much staying the same. So I don't think Leclerc's going to come under too much fire, because as this stint goes on and on, those mediums are going to get worn faster than the hards of Leclerc, so I would have thought Leclerc's probably going to be safe from attack. And we'll get full. Don't want to speak too soon, but we're looking safe from attack because we're still pulling away. Hopefully the tyres don't go off of the cliff. We're still comfortably pulling away from Leclerc. We're gaining on the two in front, but not fast enough to catch either of them. I don't know who this is. I'm assuming it's one of the Williams, probably Latifi. It is one of the Williams. We're coming up to lap. Just seeing the first signs of the grip starting to go on the tyres. Can't be as aggressive as I was
No tyre
sort of
concerns
turning
at
in.
the moment. Just focus on the driving.
It is Latifi.
The car behind is dropping back by about 0.3 a lap. The gap to the car ahead is 13.1 seconds.
Thank you for the DRS. The gap ahead's starting to stabilise. If anything, they're pulling it out slightly now. So definitely any chance of catching them is gone. Any slim chance that I did have. It's not going to happen. They pulled too far ahead in that first stint. I wasn't quick enough on the mediums. But then it's Max and Lewis. You don't really expect me, the rookie, to be up challenging them. I thought maybe I had a chance at Max simply because the Red Bull hasn't been that quick in practice, whereas it's been the Mercedes and the Racing Points and myself really that have been out of the top 5 cars. But Max, as he does in real life, has stepped it up on the day and probably driving better than the machine underneath him suggests he should drive. The Ferraris have stepped it up as well. I know one of the Racing Points is out, but they have taken it to the Racing Points. And that Leclerc's ahead of Perez, but Perez is still ahead of Bottas, remember. So I would say it's been a good race for Perez. I think Bottas' start really hurt him. He was so slow off the line, and then he hit Verstappen, which meant that I got ahead of him, and really, since then, he had a couple of desperate lunges at me to try and get past.
It's time to utilise some of this energy.
But other than that, he, because he didn't get past, he hasn't really been able to make the most of this race. And when he had the softs on, he couldn't make the most of them because he was stuck behind me. And now he's got, I assume, the hards on. And he's behind Perez on the mediums. He was quick enough to hold him off, and who is slowly, slightly, coming back at Leclerc. That's under 3 seconds now, that gap. I don't think he's going to catch Leclerc in the next 4 laps, but he's working on it. Whoops, didn't mean to double downshift there. Thank you, George. I'll start using a bit more rich fuel mix because I've got plenty left. I'm not going to need it to attack. A bit all over the place there. I'm not going to need it to attack Max and Lewis, and doesn't look like I'm going to need it to defend from Charles Leclerc either. So I may as well use it up.
We've only got 2 laps of fuel left.
There's a lap and a half of the race left, Jeff. Tyres are definitely not feeling at their freshest now. I probably took a little bit too much out of them at the start of this stint, but that's still going to make the end perfectly fine.
This is your final lap of the race.
Verstappen's passed Hamilton, I've just realised. Didn't see that happen at all. Didn't even realise that Verstappen was catching Hamilton. Completely missed that. But Verstappen is ahead of Hamilton.
Our gap to the car in front is 13.1 seconds.
And it looks like Lord Hams is going to get beaten. And he has. Verstappen and Red Bull win at the Red Bull Ring. Lord Hams second, and it's third for me and the YouTube racing team. We're on the podium for the second time.
Super driving.
Didn't get driver of the day though.
So another fantastic victory for Red Bull today. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed
There we are, up on the podium.
keeping us firmly on the edge of our
Not
seats
seeing much of us.
throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
We've just wandered off doing our own thing. So we are back on the podium for the second time in this series, and we've got the fastest lap of the race for, I believe, the first time in this series. So we get the bonus point for that, 16 points from the race today. Verstappen wins, Lewis Hamilton second obviously. Charles Leclerc does get third, pulled away in the end ahead of Sergio Perez. Bottas gets sixth, he was right on Perez, probably pressuring him the whole way. Maybe defending against him was why Perez wasn't faster and closing down Leclerc. Vettel gets seventh. I mean, Perez started seventh, so he's cleared both Bottas and Vettel in that race. So he hasn't done a bad job at all. Albon, driver of the day, 12th to 8th. It's not bad going. Sainz 11th to 9th, so he does score points for McLaren. They're rivals to us as our Racing Point. So we've scored big points over Racing Point with Lance Stroll dropping out and Sergio Perez scoring 10 points. We've scored 16, so we've gained 6 points on them. Scored big points over McLaren as well. Sainz getting 2 and Norris not getting any. Renault only scored the 1 point from this weekend from Daniel Ricciardo. Ocon finishing 12th. The Alpha Tauris are 13th and 14th, so they get nothing. Haas 15th and 16th, as usual, they get nothing. Alfa Romeo 17th and 18th, it's just 2 by 2 towards the bottom of the grid. Williams, nothing as per. Lance Stroll DNF, and obviously Guan Yu Zhou DNF as well. It would be interesting to see where Guan Yu Zhou would have finished had he not have dropped out so early on. I mean, his fastest lap was, even though he dropped out after only, I think, what, 2 or 3 laps, something like that, his fastest lap was still quicker than either of the Williams managed all race long. And it wasn't far off of what, you know, the 2 Alfa Romeos did. It wasn't far off of Grosjean. It was actually slightly faster than what Magnussen did. I think Guan Yu Zhou would have had a really good race. I think he potentially could have finished up here with the Alpha Tauris, maybe even beaten them. I think he'd have finished 15th. I reckon he'd have finished behind the Alpha Tauris, but ahead of Magnussen and the 2 Hasses. When we look at the standings, I'm still in 8th, but I extend my lead over Daniel Ricciardo behind me. 10 points now behind Sergio Perez. That's where our fight is, potentially with Albon as well for 6th. He's potentially part of this fight. He's 21 points ahead of us. In the constructors' standings, we jump ahead of Renault. We're 6 points ahead of them now, after Renault only scored 1 point there. Racing Point are quite a long way ahead of us. We may not be in a fight for 4th, to be honest. Looking at that, we may actually be fighting for 5th in the constructor standings this season, especially if Guan Yu Zhou can't start helping me out by scoring some points. If he can, great. And I do think he'd have had a decent race today had he not have gone out so early on. I do think, just looking at the lap times from the others around him, I think he could have gone faster than. I think he could have beaten quite a few of these guys, because I think he would have gone a lot faster than that on lower fuel, whereas none of these guys managed to, really. So unlucky for Guan Yu Zhou, unlucky for YouTube Racing Team in that sense, but lucky for us in another sense. We're on the podium. It was a good strategy from us. We made it work. We were never able to get on terms with Verstappen and Hamilton. They pulled too far ahead on the first stint and I couldn't catch them on that second stint. But the mediums to the softs worked. I came back through the pack past Bottas, Perez and Leclerc, and we get our 2nd podium of the season. Thank you very much for watching. The next race is the home Grand Prix for us, the British Grand Prix. So I hope to see you all then. If you did enjoy watching the video, please like and subscribe to see more, and I'll see you next time for the British Grand Prix. Thank you and goodbye.